I want to respond that comment. So one thing I learned from Prof. Farooq is that philosophy is not something we simply understand, memorize, and then apply. For him, to learn philosophy is also to question it. At first, this sounds simple, but for me, it changed the way I read, the way I think, and the way I approach literature. Because understanding a concept is one thing, but asking what makes that concept possible, what it hides, what it cannot explain, and what kind of reality it produces, that is different level of thinking. And this is not the same as relativism, okay? Relativism often stops at the idea that everything depends on perspective, that every interpretation is equally possible, or that there is no stable truth at all. But the habit of questioning is not about saying that everything is meaningless or that all readings are the same. It is about intellectual responsibility. It asks us to examine the ground of our own claims. Why do we use this theory? What does it allow us to see? What does it force us to ignore? What kind of relationship does it create between the text, the reader, and the word? This becomes very important in literary criticism, of course. So, because too often philosophical theory is used only as a label, and then we take a novel, find a theme, and then match it with the philosopher. If there is a power, we say Foucault. If there is absurdity, we say Camus. If there is identity, we say Butler. The theory becomes a decorative frame, not a way of thinking. So what Prof. Farooq taught me is that criticism should not work like that. A theory should not merely be pasted onto a literary text. It has to be tested by the text. It has to meet the complexity of form, language, narration, silence, contradiction, and historical context. Literature is not only an example of philosophy. Sometimes literature thinks with philosophy. Sometimes it challenges philosophy. Sometimes it shows what philosophy fails to notice. That is why questioning matters. Not because we want to destroy every concept, but because we want to make our reading more honest, more rigorous, and more alive. And for me, that is one of the most important lessons I received from Prof. Farooq. Not only how to understand ideas, but how to remain responsible toward the act of thinking itself. Okay?